not saying this is an easy task. All I'm saying is to embark upon it and on day one say that we're going to give the Tories 10 more years. That's not a project I'm going to sign up to. We need to...
There's not a single Labour figure in the past, not a single one, who would have backed violent street protest, as the Shadow Chancellor did, when he called for, quote, insurrection to bring down the government, or praised rioters who he said had kicked the SHIT out of the Conservative Party's offices, or talked, well, she might not want to hear it, but I tell you this. Well, I'm not going up. Well, I've explained why I'm not going over there. But I'll tell you this. I'm here because because voters in Dudley North sent me here to represent them.
As a Labour representative.
And my views, and the things I stand up for, decency in politics, the rule of law, none of these things have changed, and everybody in Dudley knew exactly what I thought of these people at the last election. And I'll tell you this, and I'll tell the Honourable Lady this, I'm going to make absolutely certain that she's going to have to answer to her voters for these points at the next election. All right? Well, we'll see. Now...
You have to answer to yours.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Not about the individuals, but actually colleagues of yours have been very frank and upfront. The Shadow Chancellor, the Shadow Home Secretary, the Shadow Brexit Secretary have all answered that question clearly. They'd all back Remain in that referendum. Why can't the Shadow Employment Rights Secretary answer the same question?
I think that the Labour Party is a reflection of the four nations at large, that there are different opinions. Sure. And I am saying this is not about me, this is not about any of my colleagues, this is about saying that the people will get the final say. And, you know, we can...
He led us down the path of a second referendum, and I'm afraid Emily Thornberry did as well. She said to one of my colleagues, I'm glad my constituents aren't as stupid as yours. I'm sorry, it's not acceptable. And therefore we're going to have to really look at what might make a candidate for leader who can at least steer us to a better place over the next few years. But we shouldn't for 1 minute think that a change of leader is going to create an election victory for us.
He should have been apologising to them and actually writing letters to people who'd lost their seats and who were having to make their staff redundant a week before Christmas, rather than chin-wagging with groups of young people and, frankly, basking in their adoration. Jermey seems very quick to blame the media and blame someone else, and very slow to accept responsibility himself, whether it's momentum, he says he doesn't control it, you know, whether it's his top aide having a long Christmas dinner and drink in a very posh London restaurant during the election campaign a week before polling day. He didn't know anything about it. Jeremy's approach is always to see no evil, hear no evil and speak no evil, but actually on his watch a lot of very bad things have happened in the Labour Party. Jermey is very keen to absolve himself from responsibility, whether that's for anti-Semitism and bullying, which drove out 11 of my Labour colleagues, 2 of them Jewish women, or the trigger ballots that saw women, colleagues in particular, having to face full trigger ballots. It's never anything to do with him. It's always about democracy. It's always about democracy, but at the end of the day, if we're serious about getting a Labour government, we need to spend a lot less time navel-gazing and purifying the party, and a lot more time getting our hands dirty out in the country and truly listening to what people say to us. Some of my colleagues are incandescent with rage. Some of them are, you know, still very, very shell-shocked and deeply, deeply upset about what has happened to them. None of them have been contacted by Jermey, to my knowledge. Nobody has reached out to them to offer any apology. And with Jermey, he just seems to quite enjoy the criticism, absorbs it in a kind of martyrdom way. And I don't think that that's healthy. I think the fact that he doesn't seem to feel emotion when people around him are feeling such pain basically leads me to think that he's a narcissist.